Much 8:35 here, and tensions do remain high in the Bronx, where family and friends are preparing to pay their final respects to a young man killed after an NYPD sergeant struck him in the head with a water cooler while he was on a scooter.
So the NYPD suspended that officer without pay, but some are demanding that he be charged with murder. Joining us this morning is Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson. So Borough President, good morning to you.
Thank you. Good morning.
So let's begin with this topic, right? Because we had this rally held yesterday for the 30-year-old Eric Dupree, who died last Wednesday. Where do you stand on how this should move forward, right? The officer suspended while the investigation continues, but should he be charged?
Right. I do believe the process will play itself out. The Attorney General is investigating. I am thankful that Commissioner Eddie Caban moved to swiftly suspend this NYPD sergeant. The video is disturbing. It's heartbreaking. It's outrageous. When you see the actions that this officer engaged in, throwing an object at someone to stop them from fleeing is not in police protocol, no matter what. Regardless of the circumstances surrounding this young man, he did not deserve to die in this fashion. He was a father, a husband, left behind children, and I mourn the loss of this young man in our borough. And the process will play itself out. Certainly those actions are violent, and I know the process will call for accountability for this officer.
You know, I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but when you say the process should play itself out, right? If there are rallies already from the community saying he should be charged, would you go as far as to say that?
Yes, I would. Absolutely. He should be charged because his actions were negligent, they were violent, and obviously contributed to this young man's death.
Right. Now, we know the Bronx does continue to be a hot spot for crime. Just over the weekend, 2 people were stabbed to death in Norwood.
Yes.
A suspect does remain on the loose. Any updates on that investigation?
That's still underway. That was a girlfriend and boyfriend. Unfortunately, they were victims of a stabbing. There was some sort of a dispute in Norwood. We've spoken to the 52nd Precinct and the Patrol Borough, and obviously there are potentially evidence and witnesses that will come forward in this building. And, you know, we mourn the loss of this young man and this young woman. Just very sad, unfortunate.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk. I want to switch gears about what's happening in the cannabis world, right?
Okay.
These licenses that have been put out, and now they're kind of on standby because of this injunction.
Right.
We just had Erica Ford on earlier this morning talking about how it's unfair for the people who have the licenses but cannot open the shops, right? Many of them are in the Bronx, actually, set to open.
We have a couple.
What should happen here?
So it's unfortunate, and I understand, obviously, everyone believes that this process should be fair and equitable when it comes to the cannabis industry. We just opened our first dispensary a few weeks ago on East Tremont in the Bronx, and now we have a second one we believe that will open in the Williamsbridge, Morris Park community, and we know there are more that are in queue, and they're just waiting for this, you know, litigation to be resolved. And these are operators that are following the rules. They are paying their dues. They're going through the process. Many of them have a marijuana conviction on their record, and we want to make sure that the cannabis industry is legitimate, it's licensed, and they are good neighbors. We have so many unlicensed in this city, and that's why there's such a divide when it comes to people supporting the cannabis industry.
Do you know how many? Manhattan Borough President came out last week and said there were over like 600, I think it was 300 to 600 shops illegal open in Manhattan.
Right.
Do you know how many are in the Bronx?
I believe, I didn't get an exact number, but we probably are a couple of hundred.
Wow.
We get calls all the time, you know, precinct council meetings. Many of our residents reach out, and they see the smoke shops, and obviously the close proximity to schools, to playgrounds, and other places where children are is very, very concerning.
Wow. Right. Well, we certainly know the importance of supporting small businesses.
Yes.
We know there's a new loan program that's making $10 million actually available for small businesses in the borough. When does that application open up?
So the application has already opened. We made an announcement 2 weeks ago with Congress member Richie Torres and BXEDC and our Business Initiative Corporation at an amazing co-working lab space called Bronx Create in the South Bronx. And we unlocked $10 million of New York Empowerment Zone money back from 1994 that was not spent. And we were able to work with our president, Rob Walsh, and the EDC team, and we are going to be dispensing anywhere from $5,000 to $350,000 of loans for small businesses. They are the hubs, the fabric of our borough, of our community. And you remember during the COVID-19 pandemic, less than 10% of our businesses were given any PPP loans or grant opportunities. So this is a chance to right a wrong, equalize the system, and really support small businesses in a real transparent way.
Yeah, you brought up COVID-19. You know, unfortunately, we're seeing some cases kind of go up around New York City. Right? We had the health commissioner on last week talking about this, right? In the Bronx, too, as well, cases going up?
So we have been talking to the health department, my health and human services team, and we've learned that there is an uptick in positivity cases in the Northeast Bronx, in the 10475 zip code, which is the Co-op City community, and that's an older adult community. So we're going to be there this Sunday for one of our summer concert series, our finale, and we're going to have COVID-19 testing. We're going to work with JASA and River Bay and all of our stakeholders to really encourage our older adults to get tested, to obviously wear face masks when needed, to use precaution when traveling. Many of our older adults in this community have underlying health conditions, so they're further, targeted because of that. But we will do our part with real focus, but also collectively around the Bronx.
Ooh, a busy time in the Bronx as the summer wraps up.
Summer's
we head into fall.
I know,
it's
Believe
crazy.
it went by fast.
It certainly did. Thrilled to have you, Borough President Vanessa Gibson. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Always good to have you.